Hey y'all, so as we're all aware by now, Everest was a really skittish horse. It was incredibly difficult to make any progress with her for quite some time. For about the first month, we moved very slowly, and some days I didn't even film, and most days the footage is about the same from day to day. This video is only going to include the highlights of each day and the most important and most interesting moments of each session, because it spans the course of a month. Horses investigate with their mouths, so I let her bite the whip as a way of checking it out. She later has to learn that she can't do the same thing to humans, but that's a lesson she'll learn another day. Here she gets set off by a noise she hears in the background. Since she's already so tense, it just takes one little noise to freak her out. Now I'm just showing the most important parts of these sessions, so remember there's lots of repetition and lots of downtime in between each of these clips. It's kind of hard trying to balance avoiding getting eaten and avoiding scaring the wild Mustang that's trying to eat you, but I did my best. So Everest's body language is really interesting in this clip. I'm just standing here stroking her when she decides to try and eat me, and then she hears some dogs barking in the distance. I noticed her tensing up to spook, and I reacted in a split second. Mustangs can and will run you over. If they get scared enough, they don't care about your space. She could have just run away from me, but she ended up handling her emotions and staying still. Even so, I told her to move to get some adrenaline out, so she could come back to me more focused. This is why we use a whip, so we can hold it out in front of us to signal to the horse that we are not to be run over. So she got a little spooked here. It happens sometimes that when they're already tense, they hear one little noise like a bird or another horse or something and they freak out. Just gotta be patient with her after and remind her that I'm not a threat. So as you can see in a lot of these clips, Evie is quite enthusiastic about following me around, and I think it's very cute, and it's good that she's curious, but she has to know that she can't just walk straight up to me, and if I tell her to stop a distance away, she needs to stop. This is due to the unpredictable nature of wild horses and horses in general. They need to have a cue to stop from a good distance away, in case they're ever excited or spooking and are running towards you. I'm all about the horse choosing to investigate things on their own accord, so sometimes I just stand there and see what she does. At some point I switched to using a carrot stick with the string taken off. I like the ability to scratch horses with it so that they start to form a positive association with being touched. The point of this video is to showcase the different techniques I used during this month. With this technique, I was trying to show Evie that my hand wasn't so different to the carrot stick, and start to get closer and closer with my hand while still touching her with the carrot stick, which is something she's familiar with, and introducing my hand, which she's less familiar with. I'm trying to do this to make the change between the carrot stick and my hand less jarring for her. You've seen a lot of me patting her on the nose, but you haven't seen me touching the side of her face because she was very protective with it. So she was very comfortable with the carrot stick on the side of her face, and the point of this exercise was to start to introduce my hand there too. Mustang training is hard. Alright, so here's another one of those mistakes where you can see she's looking off into the distance at something that scares her, and I should have given her more time. So the triggers were already stacking up, and when I raised my hand it pushed her over the edge. Horses yawning is very cute, but you should take note of when they do it. Horses yawn to release tension held in their jaw, and yawning a lot like this can show a lot of tension. I understand that all of Evie's tension was coming from the stress of being a wild Mustang and acclimating to human life. The point of all the things I'm doing is to get her used to ropes all over her face before we introduce the halter for real. So this clip is interesting. You can see her almost turn her hip toward me and then decide to change her mind. I probably should have reacted to this sooner, and you'll see why in a minute. This time she completely turns her hip to me, which is not acceptable. She's not allowed to be doing that, so I pushed it away. She's of course allowed to leave a scary stimulus. I would never train a horse with flooding, but her way of reacting to a scary stimulus in this clip was the fight response instead of the flight response, and that's not okay. Again, she can leave if something's scary to her, but she can't directly threaten me like she did. I used the string taken off my carrot stick to sort of mimic part of a halter while being less scary for her. This way I could wrap it around her nose and get her used to that feeling. A low headset is more relaxing to a horse, so sometimes I would spend a lot of time crouched down and encouraging her to lower her head and relax. In this clip, my best guess is that she saw my hand appear in her eye and she freaked out. You can also see me again give her a cue to stop from a distance with just my arm. So today I brought Prince into the round pen with her to try and give her some confidence. Sometimes he feels the need to resource guard me from other horses. So I honestly wish I had attempted to do this sooner, but I tried to give her a carrot out of a feed pan, because I knew she obviously wouldn't take treats out of my hand. She wouldn't eat the carrot, but I wish I had tried with other types of treats sooner, and maybe she would have come around even sooner. At the time of filming, I knew positive reinforcement was a great method to gain a Mustang's trust, but I honestly didn't know how I could employ it with a horse who wouldn't take treats out of my hand. But live and learn, and now I have another option to do with my next Mustang if I ever get one as skittish as her. That does it for just about the first month of Everest training, as the next session she had a big breakthrough, and it's probably best to put it in its own video. I hope this gave you an insight on the types of things we worked on every single day, even if I didn't film every day. Thanks for watching, and remember that every Mustang is on their own time frame and some take longer than others.